Welcome to the Diva D-Town. Welcome to the Diva D-Town, where bold, confident women embrace life unapologetically. From love and sex to wellness and reinvention, we keep it raw, real, and powerful. No filters, no limits. Just fearless conversations to help you thrive. Let's dive in with Diva Mia and Diva Kat.
Well, hello, this is Diva Kat. Welcome to Diva Detail. I'm your host today. This is the space that we talk about life, love, and other things that we should be discussing, but often don't, especially in Asian community. Today's episode is monologue, just me and you, talking about something deeply personal and often love, sex, and Asian perspective. Now, if you grew up in Asian household, like I did, you probably know that the sex was never mentioned or treated like a shameful secret. But let's be real, sex and intimacy are natural, healthy, and deeply connected to our relationship. You know, growing up, I don't remember as a single real person about sex. I remember parents say like, good girl, don't talk about that. That's for marriage people. Or classic, just focus on your study. And now I'm alone in this. Asian culture plays huge importance on modesty, family reputation, keeping certain topic private. Sex fall into that category and something we just expect to figure out when we get married. But here's the problem. We don't talk about sex, we don't learn about it, and when we don't learn about it, we are struggle in relationship. I've heard so many stories of women who felt lost in their marriages, couple who couldn't communicate about intimacy, and young people who turn into internet for answer. So this reality that silence creates shame. And in Asian community, they quick to shame you and judging you from that. They have an age limit to everything. You know, by you're 18, you should just get married, having kids. They are shame us to keeping from building healthy, happy relationship. So what do? We start talking. If talking about sex feel awkward, many of us were raised to have this conversation. Guess what? The relationship thrive on communication, and intimacy is part of the deal. So how do you start? Number one, you have to ease into it. You don't jump in intense conversation right away. Let's start like a question like, what makes you feel most loved in your relationship? What is your idea of your romantic night? What is something that you've always been curious about, but you never asked? What if we make conversation, not you conversation? Instead of saying that you never talk to me about sex, we need to talk more openly about intimacy. How do you feel about that? Now, as an Asian woman, especially, are often taught that sex is about serving a partner and rather than mutual, enjoyment. I think intimacy should be equal. Both partners should feel respected and satisfied. That goes both ways. But growing up, we Asian women just learn to please the men. It's up to you to have your conversation with your partner, and it's okay to have it. So even though they don't use this conversation, they might need to open up. The key is to create safe space between both of you and feel comfortable being honest. And then talk to your friend, discuss about sex, relationship. We can have sex talk club between the good girlfriend. So I know some women who want to talk about the intimacy, but they feel awkward, bring it up. That's always the fear. Why if they judge me? What if they say too much? But that's what the girl trips are for. You talk about everything. Open heart, lay on table, having fun with your girlfriend. And you can learn from each other. You can support each other in your relationship struggle. Some people stay married just because to be the picture perfect. They don't talk about it. That's one of my cousins. She never know what the 69 is. Because they don't talk about it. Now, you know what? She even know what anal sex is. Welcome to Diva Kat. So let's talk about that. The most importantly, you realize that you're not alone. You always have your friend. If you nervous, bring it up or start with something very simple like, I read this article about, make me think about this. How do you feel about it? You could talk about, have you ever seen that movie, The Joy Luck Club? That's what our Asian culture is. If you want to watch that with your girlfriend and start talk about it, it's okay too. Bring it up. How does other deal with other women? X, Y, Z. What, do you have any advice? When we open up, we give each other permission to do the same. And honestly, you deserve the safe space to talk about your relationship, desire, struggle, no judgmental. Ladies, I know this podcast is affect to a lot of us. And me, myself, I experience it myself. We never have to talk about it. But if you talked about it, you become a bad person. They put name on you. And the Asian woman, no matter what, either you work out outside the house, you make equally, you always have to make picture perfect with your family, with your husband. The dinner has to be ready when the husband get home. When you have guests over, they already talk about something to cover them up, but deep down inside, some women stay married miserable and they don't get up to talk about it. Even with your own sister, they cannot talk about it with their own sister. How bad is that? That's why you have a girlfriend. That's why you have a girlfriend, even though you could pick up the phone, talk to your friend, or you could go on the trip, or you could just meet for coffee, for lunch. It's a girl talk and open it up on the table. No judgment. I want you to take away from today's episode is sex is not dirty. Talk about sex. It's not shameful at all. Intimacy is the key part of love and relationship. Regardless, you want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it, you do or you don't. Good, healthy sex life is the main key in your household. Me, myself, I admit it. But I was a little more advanced than the others, I guess. You just have to talk about it. The more we normalize this conversation, the more empowered to ourselves and your future and generation. You should be able to talk to your daughter about everything, the birds and the bees. You should be able to talk about your son or your niece or your friend. Sometimes your niece might not be comfortable to talk with her mom, but she could be comfortable talking to you. I have so many of my nieces. A lot of stuff they don't tell their mother, but they tell me, cross the finger, I make promise that this not going to hear back to your mother. And they open up to you. I think this will help us in our society, our culture, educate each other and be supportive for each other. Sex is okay. Sex is not dirty. Sex is not shameful. Because the more we talk, the more stronger our relationship become. Anyway, thank you for joining me. This is Diva Detail. If you enjoyed this episode, share your friends, subscribe, and keep conversation going. You could also DM me in all our social media handle. If you have any thought or question and want to hear what's coming up next, I would love to hear from you. Until next time, stay bold and keep owning your story. Bye for now. This is Diva Kat from the Diva Details.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We'd love hearing from you. Visit thedivadetails.com to connect. See you next week for more.
Diva Details podcast and website are intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The content provided does not constitute professional, medical, financial, or legal advice. We are not licensed medical practitioners, financial advisors, or legal professionals. Always consult with a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Any financial topics discussed are based on personal opinions and experience and should not be considered professional advice. The content provided does not constitute legal advice. The Diva Details and its affiliate contributors and guests are not liable for any losses or damages arising from the use of our content. The opinions expressed in the podcast are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organization, sponsors, or partners. While facts discussed in the podcast are researched and accurate to the best of our knowledge at the time of recording, information may change over time. No guarantees are made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements or opinions presented. It is the responsibility of the listener to verify any and all facts that may influence their decision. This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.